What if I told you that silence alone won't save you? That going no contact might feel powerful, but it's actually just the beginning. Because for some women, your silence doesn't break them, it fuels them. And if you think disappearing will make her ego crumble, you're playing the wrong game. This isn't about ghosting. This is about rebirth. This is about becoming the man who doesn't just walk away. He evolves so far beyond her reach, she has no choice but to regret everything. Welcome to Behavior Insight. This is the dark truth. No contact isn't enough to break her ego. And today, we go far deeper than silence. 1. Stop thinking. Silence hurts her. You think going silent is punishment. You think disappearing will break her. That if you just pull away and block her, she'll collapse under the weight of your absence. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most women expect no contact, especially the ones with strong egos. They've already mentally rehearsed your silence before you ever sent that last message. She's not crying, she's watching, she's waiting. And if you're not careful, your no contact becomes her power play. See, silence alone isn't a weapon, it's only the sheath. It's what you do with that silence that matters, because a woman with ego will twist your silence into a victory if she senses you're still emotionally tethered. If she can feel your pain in the air, if you're secretly hoping she notices your stories or quotes or photos, you're not free, you're not strong, you're performing weakness under the disguise of withdrawal. And let's be brutally honest, most men use silence as manipulation, a tactic, a cry for attention. But when you do that, she doesn't miss you, she sees right through you. Her ego whispers, he's still watching. And the moment she knows that, she's not broken, she's fed. You want to crush her ego? Stop thinking silence alone is enough. She's not afraid of silence, she's afraid of detachment. She's terrified of indifference. When she senses you're no longer emotionally available, not bitter, not angry, just gone, that's when her reality shifts. That's when her reflection starts to haunt her. Not because you yelled, not because you begged, but because you vanished emotionally, not just physically. In Stoicism, true detachment is the highest form of power. It's not coldness, it's control. It's the man who no longer moves for validation, who no longer performs for approval, and who no longer responds out of weakness. He simply walks with discipline, and in that silence, he rises. So stop thinking your silence is loud. It's not the silence that breaks her ego. It's the fact that you no longer care what she thinks of it. 2. No contact without transformation is just absence. Let's be blunt, any man can go, no contact, block her number, unfollow her social media, delete the pictures. And yet, why do most men still feel stuck? Because you disappeared, but didn't transform. Here's what most don't understand. No contact is not an end. It's not a mic drop. It's a beginning. It's the training ground. It's the uncomfortable silence that's meant to force one thing: rebirth. The reason she doesn't regret losing you yet, because you're still the same man she walked away from. Same thoughts, same habits, same patterns. If she comes back and sees you exactly as you were, she doesn't feel loss. She feels reassurance. Good, she thinks. He hasn't moved on. I still hold weight in his life. But when she sees a new energy, a deeper focus, a man sharper in mind, stronger in body, clearer in vision, she starts questioning everything. Who is he now? Was I the mistake? Can I still reach him? That's when ego begins to fracture. Understand this, the ego isn't broken by your absence, it's broken by your evolution. Because when a man turns his pain into power, the woman who hurt him doesn't just feel guilt. She feels replaced, not by another woman, but by a better version of himself. And here's the beauty. This transformation isn't for her, it's for you. You become the man you were too distracted to be when you were obsessed with her. You get sharper, colder, more composed, not bitter, but refined. She left expecting you to chase. Instead, you vanished into focus. She expected you to crumble. Instead, you constructed a life she no longer fits in. So if you think no contact is enough, think again. Disappearance means nothing, unless it's followed by undeniable transformation. 3. Her ego thrives on hope. Starve it. Here's the brutal truth most men overlook. Her ego doesn't live on love. It lives on hope. Hope that you'll still think about her. Hope that you'll miss her. Hope that, even in silence, your mind still bends toward her name. And every little breadcrumb you leave behind, every vague post, every sad song on your story, every quote that smells like heartbreak, it's not healing, it's her fuel. Understand this. Women with inflated egos know how to play the game. They don't need to reach out. They don't need to say a word. They just need to feel like they still live rent-free in your head. If they sense that, even for a second, you're doing things to get their attention, their ego wins. That's why most men fail. Because while they go no contact, they still leak emotional signals. They still react, still check stories, still let mutual friends mention her name and freeze. That's not detachment, that's quiet obsession. A Stoic man understands something deeper. Validation flows in more ways than words. Energy, reactions, subtle gestures. They all scream, "I still care," when she's watching. You want to destroy her ego. Starve it. Let her wonder why you're not posting. Let her question why she can't feel your emotional pulse anymore. Let her ego wander in confusion. Because when a woman is unsure whether you care, that's when her confidence starts to shake. She expects you to be upset, to be checking in, to be lurking, but when you're nowhere, not physically, not emotionally, not digitally, she doesn't know what to think. And it's that uncertainty that begins the ego collapse. A man who doesn't respond, doesn't chase, doesn't even notice, becomes terrifying to a woman who thought she had emotional leverage. So starve the hope, starve the control, starve her ego. And in that void, she won't just question her decisions, she'll start fearing your evolution. 4. Replace attention with purpose. What do most men do after no contact? They scroll, they sulk, they sit in the shadows waiting for some kind of message, some kind of signal that she noticed their absence. But you didn't go silent to be noticed. You went silent to level up. Or at least you should have. See, attention is her playground. She knows how to dance in your gaze. She's fluent in manipulation when you're watching. But when your eyes stop following her, when your focus shifts inward, that's when her world starts tilting. You want to crush her ego? Don't chase distractions. Chase discipline. No more mindless scrolling. No more checking if she watched your story. No more wondering what she's doing or who she's with. Your new obsession becomes your becoming. Wake up earlier. Train harder. Read more. Build something. Create silence so strong it humbles your past self. And here's the catch. This isn't about glowing up for her. It's not about revenge. It's not about posting flashy pics and hoping she sees them. It's about building a life so fulfilling, so self-driven, that you forget you ever needed her applause to feel worthy. Women sense when you've stopped orbiting them, when your energy is no longer pointed in their direction. And that feeling? It's devastating to an ego used to being the center of gravity. Now, every time she thinks of you, she won't picture the man who sat in heartbreak. She'll picture the man who became bulletproof in silence. No contact is the door. Purpose is the path. And if you stay consistent long enough, she'll look back and no longer recognize the man she once knew. That's when her ego dies. 5. Forgive without contact. That's real power. Forgiveness isn't softness. It's not weakness. It's leverage, because the truth is, the most powerful move a man can make isn't anger. It's indifference wrapped in grace. It's forgiveness delivered without permission, without conversation, and without expectation. You think holding a grudge shows strength? It doesn't. It shows she still matters. Every time you replay what she did, every time you feel the heat in your chest when you hear her name, you're still bound to her. And here's what most men don't see. She expects the grudge. She expects you to be mad. She expects you to hate her. Because even hatred is a form of attachment. It means she's still inside you. But when you forgive her, not for her, but for you, something radical happens. You free yourself. You stop carrying her ghost around. You remove the last hook she had in your psyche. You don't need closure. You don't need an apology. You decide to let it go. And that's terrifying to her ego, because now you don't react. You don't flinch. You don't need anything from her. Not her guilt, not her words, not her attention. You want to break her ego for good. Forgive her, and never speak of her again. She'll feel it, not in your presence, but in your absence, not in your words, but in your silence. Forgiveness is your final power move, not to give her peace, but to make it clear. She has no more power over the man you've become. 6. Transmute the pain into power. Most men let pain consume them. They carry it around like a badge. But a Stoic man, he transmutes it. He uses heartbreak as raw material. He doesn't let it rot him. He reforges it into fire. You've been hurt, let down, betrayed. Good. That's your fuel. You want to crush her ego. Don't post quotes. Don't beg for closure. Don't try to trigger her attention. Instead, transform. Every drop of pain you're feeling right now is potential. Potential to rebuild yourself into a version so strong she wouldn't recognize you. And even if she did, she couldn't reach you anymore. Most men waste this energy. They spiral. They chase rebounds. They wallow in bitterness. But the dangerous man, the Stoic man, he channels. He hits the gym with new discipline. He pours into his business, his craft, his vision. He sharpens his mind, not just his body, not for revenge, not to show her, but because he knows the only way out of weakness is through relentless growth. You take the betrayal, and you lift heavier. You take the silence, and you train in it. You turn the why me into watch me, and without a single word, she starts to feel it. Not because you sent a message, but because the man you've become doesn't need to. This isn't about the glow-up. This is about alchemical rebirth. She thought she broke you, but you turned that crack into your foundation. She didn't destroy you. She built your hunger. And now she's irrelevant to the man you're becoming. So let the pain shape you. Let it purify your discipline. Let it annihilate the version of you that needed her. And when she scrolls past your name months from now, she'll feel the one thing no woman with ego can handle: regret. 7. Become the man she can't replace. Here's the cold truth. Most women leave thinking you're replaceable. She assumes she can find another guy with your kindness, your time, your effort. And in today's world, there's always someone in her DMs trying to prove her right. But what she doesn't expect is for you to evolve into the man none of them can match. You want to destroy her ego, become irreplaceable, not by flaunting wealth, not by chasing clout, but by becoming so grounded in your energy, so locked into your discipline, that your aura changes. You become the man who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't need constant attention, who speaks little, but when he does, it's with power, who walks with presence, not desperation. Let her compare. Let her bounce from guy to guy trying to fill the void. She'll find attention, yes, but not your calm, not your masculinity, not your poise under pressure, not your stillness that made her feel something real. Because here's the truth. Most men these days are emotional ping-pong balls, reactive, needy, loud. But when you cultivate stoic calmness, you create a presence that cannot be cloned. That's what breaks her ego. When she realizes she didn't just lose a man, she lost a standard. You didn't level up to get her back. You leveled up so far that her name doesn't even fit in your story anymore. And she'll feel it. Not because you rubbed it in her face, but because your absence hits harder than your presence ever did. 8. Build a new identity in shadow. If you're trying to change so she'll see it, you've already lost. Because real transformation doesn't happen under the spotlight. It happens in the shadows, alone, quiet, where there's no applause, no validation, no audience. Most guys want to glow up publicly. They post gym selfies, drop cryptic quotes. They hope she's watching, and maybe she is. But what she sees is weakness, performance, a man still seeking her attention. You want to break her ego? Disappear into the shadows, rebuild in silence. You stop broadcasting and start building. You cut distractions. You read more. You lift heavier. You speak less. You observe more. And when you do that, something sacred happens. You evolve in ways she'll never comprehend. Then one day, when your name comes up, she'll scroll. She'll listen. She'll hear things. And what she sees won't match who she remembers. That gap between who you were and who you became, that's what shatters her ego, because now she doesn't know how to approach, doesn't know what to say. She just knows she's no longer invited. You've rebuilt in the dark. You've returned with armor. And your silence? It doesn't beg. It dominates. 9. Let her watch from afar, blocking her. Not necessary. Deleting everything. Pointless. You don't need to run from the past. You need to rise above it. The most devastating blow to her ego. Letting her watch from afar. You don't chase. You don't hide. You don't flex. You live. You keep moving like she never happened. Not out of spite, but because your life now belongs to a higher purpose. One that no longer includes her. And she'll see it. Through mutuals. Through quiet whispers. Through the version of you she never expected to exist. When she scrolls and sees the calm in your eyes. When she hears that you've changed, grown, evolved. Her mind spirals, because she's outside now, looking in, and realizing she has no keys, no access, no relevance. That's when the ego collapses, not in anger, in irrelevance, and all you had to do was walk away, without ever turning back. 10. Forgive for power, not peace. Forgiveness is the final strike, not because it frees her, but because it frees you. When you forgive, you're not saying she was right. You're saying, you no longer have the power to affect me, and that destroys the ego, because she expected hate, expected bitterness, expected you to carry the wound forever. But when she hears that you're calm, composed, thriving, not angry, not obsessed, not stuck, she'll feel the regret like a slow burn. You don't reach out. You don't say, I forgive you. You live like it. Forgiveness isn't softness. It's you removing the final chain she placed around your heart. You forgive because a king doesn't carry resentment. A king doesn't fight old wars. He builds empires. You don't need revenge. You don't need her apology. You need focus. You need freedom. And when she realizes that you've closed the chapter with peace, not pain, that's when her ego folds. Because the strongest thing you can say without ever speaking a word is, you didn't break me, you awakened me. You thought no contact would be enough. But now you know, it's just the beginning. Silence isn't power. Detachment is. She expected the cold shoulder. What she never expected was the new man you'd become without her. You didn't disappear to punish her. You disappeared to rebuild yourself. So let her watch, let her wonder, let her feel the weight of losing a man she thought was replaceable. If you're done performing, done chasing, done bleeding energy into people who didn't value it, this is your moment. Comment below. I rise in silence. I lead in power. Hit that like button, subscribe to Behavior Insight. Turn on the notifications, because what's coming next isn't just a glow-up, it's a resurrection. And the next version of you, she'll never see him coming.